Okay. As he approaches, he kind of sees you, and like for a brief moment, he like kind of like reels back, like, "Wait, what?" And his guards kind of like look around confused before he kind of just shakes it off, and both of you make
And
perception checks.
all
Uh,
right.
okay.
Ooh, that's a 19 plus perception.
Fuck, open. Thank you.
Perception, so that's a +1, so 20,
20.
unnatural.
Okay.
Are we in daylight?
You're inside. You're not in daylight.
Oh, okay, 11.
11. He's not being sneaky about it, but he kind of mumbles, "Fucking adventurers," and he kind of like shakes his head, and he eventually approaches the table, and he does a very deep bow, and he says, "My name is Octavian. I'm glad you accepted this job."
Son, a pleasure.
He goes, "Zahn, it's
Pleasure's all mine.
very, very nice to meet you. I've never had the pleasure of meeting a kobold before."
I
Most
I
of us
bow
aren't
at him.
friendly.
I bow to him too, and as I'm bowing, all of a sudden my hair changes color, and I immediately take the form of a tiefling male,
All right.
red, and I say, "Pleasure to meet you too. My name is Vic."
He goes, "Are you a changeling by chance?"
If only.
He goes, "Ah, I see. Well,
Insight check.
I mean, he's make an insight check, and then depending on the roll, Manny, you can decide if you feel that you have to reveal anything.
A 2!
A two.
As far
Oh,
as
wait,
you,
no, it's a 5. I'm sorry, I lied.
so I did roll also. I got a 13. From what you think, you're not certain. I could be. I could be something else entirely.
Yeah, you
Damn it.
you both know of changelings. They're quite common. In my world, however, nowadays they're considered fae in the new books. Now in my world, uh, changelings are very rare. They are they are not they're kind of similar to Asimar in my world,
Mm-hmm.
in which they're born thanks to the god of trickery Ubel or
Okay.
Ubel, Ubble. And you
I
both
like
would know
Abel
this.
more.
It's common knowledge. That's why changelings they're rare because they have to be directly, they're not
Yeah.
like they're not demigods.
They're kind of like they're like
An Asimar, whatever.
it's an ASMR where like they're like chosen to be
Yeah, yeah,
blah
yeah.
blah. Yeah,
I
gotcha.
I didn't. I immediately after I said those words and everything, my form changes into a changeling,
I stealth.
and I don't say anything else.
All right. They both kind of look at you, and then Octo kind of
And I
gestures and
smile.
Octo gestures, and one of his guards pushes a chair up, and he gently sits in it and folds his hand on his lap.
He has guards. What do his guards look like?
They look, they're heavily armored. Hold on, let me pull up their stats.
He's giving us a job, right?
He's hired you for that exact reason.
Do we know what our job is, or is he telling us
That's
now?
what you know the gist.
Do we know any information about
Okay.
it? Is what I want to know.
The basic gist of what you were given was that the the job pertains to the bowels, the lower half of the city, the ancient part. And there was no specifics. It basically was, high paying job. We need you to go down there and solve a problem.
Okay.
And he said more will be explained. He didn't want to put the whole thing on a
I won't
job
be a
board.
dick to the guy. I'll let him. I won't go
Okay.
stealth. I'm sorry.
But he kind of sits there quietly, and he's a sea elf, but you could guess maybe in his late like 600s, so not too old, but not too young. Fuck. Well, it worked. His guards are all dressed in plate mail.
What
And
does his guards look like?
Ooh.
they're a mix of Triton and Sea Elf. The city.
I
Go
I
ahead.
immediately change my appearance into them and say, "So, is there warforges by chance in the underpart and everything? I've been kind of curious about their race in general.
He goes,
I have bad news bears. I might need to take a shit soon.
that's fine. He goes, well, there are warforged in the bowels of the city, yes. That's actually what I'm here to talk to you about. You see, some time ago, when we first discovered the city, the warforged were inactive, residing in the city itself, in the bowels. We reactivated them, repaired them, fixed up the city, and set them to work, basically. When they were revived, they seemed to have no memory of their past lives. So we more or less, as payment for fixing them and fixing the city, we put them to work. And they work in the bowels, keeping the city running.
All right.
But that is what I hired you to, or I'm going to hire you for, is recently, it's been a couple hundred years since the Warforged were reactivated, but lately they've become more rebellious. They spend less time working and more time
Killing?
protesting. I
Eating?
so is the word.
I don't think they eat.
They Warforged,
Eat.
as far as you know, they can eat, but they gain no
Do they eat
benefits.
coal?
They can eat coal. It doesn't really. They don't. The way from what you know what?
They poop coal.
Give me a nature check.
God damn it. Okay. The character's not very smart, okay?
All right,
19.
So,
19. Okay.
what was the sea elf dude called again?
The sea elf, Octovian.
2.
But with a 19, you would understand that Warforged, they're like robots in the simplest terms.
Yeah.
They're artificially created beings. They do not need to eat. They don't need to technically sleep. They just go into like a deactivated like wait mode for 4 hours, or it might be 8. I don't know. But
It's 4 hours.
it's 4
You got
hours.
it.
Okay. But they, I don't remember how long they live for, but I think they live for
For a
while.
long ass time, I
practically.
think. They live for like, almost
Yeah.
everything. As long as you keep them, I
Maintain.
think you can repair them and
Yeah.
shit. Yeah,
So-
and all that.
You would understand they don't need to eat. They just kind of, they don't technically need to breathe, so that's why they work great underwater.
Yeah.
But from what you also know that they are sentient, and they do have something similar to a soul, in the most broadest sense, at least in my world.
And they're basically just fucking rebelling.
Yeah, he goes, yes. They are led by that's the wrong button. They are led by Augustus.
Mustafa.
He's kind of become a thorn in our side. He's a warforged himself. One of the first ones reactivated and set to task. He has cordoned off a section of the bowels that we more or less aren't allowed in anymore. Only warforged and anyone they deem, what's the word?
So, is this
Yes.
the lower half of the city then?
Yeah, he says yes. The warforged aren't allowed up top. It's more or less to keep them somewhat in line.
Do they have a union?
He laughs and says they're trying to make one.
I chuckle.
Interesting.
Yeah, you both of you make insight checks.
Alright.
All right.
I feel like there's more going on to this story. Not good.
That's a 5.
The 5 and Minie
9.
9. He's kind of hard to read. He's very stoic. He doesn't like have any obvious tics.
I try to inside him again.
All right. I'll say this: you're kind of like leaning into him, kind of like scanning him, so it'd be a bit more
I'm
obvious
looking
that
into his soul.
yeah, it's obvious
start-
that you're trying to
I
look
start
into.
to. I'm like, I just disregard what's going on, and I just start drinking a little bit.
It was worse. So it
Okay.
just doesn't matter.
Yeah, you get
And I immediately turn into McDonald.
Ronald, the tavern owner.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, you both, even with your low rolls, you get the he's very obvious vibe that he doesn't like the Warforged, And
Does he like us?
as far as you can tell, he seems to be in your favor.
Pleasant. I mean,
Yeah, he's pleasant
people
demeanor.
can hide things. So. All right. Sorry.
You're fine.